Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to this video on a very beautiful topic. As you know, there's so much said about this topic. It's probably the topic that floods over the gates of the internet as widely as possible. And I'm really excited to share this video with all of you because it will have some of the spirit messages and guidance of what's really happening, not just in general, because you know I love to share eternal truths of divine union and the absolute through the realms of illumination, but also what's taking place at this time. And I've shared a bit about this in my latest Ascension update on the first ascending wave, which really talks about the nature of our ascension and what it means at this time. So it's not about who's going first and what's happening in terms of events, but really what we're acquiring, those of us who are moving through this threshold of the culmination, which has been so intense at this time. And a huge part of this is connected with coming back home, our homecoming with our twin soul essence. Recently, I've seen a couple of videos from some people on this topic, and you know there can still be a lot of confusion on this note because the information that is shared doesn't always come from those who really are in this path. They do embody a path of a divine lover. So when you are in this path, I'm going to share some signs towards the end to remind you that you're not crazy, that you're not imagining, because some are. And the true nature of this is that there's always this balancing aspect. So on one side you have those people who don't believe in this. For them this doesn't exist. It all just soars. They don't believe in the nature of the twin soul. They just don't accept it because probably it's not what they're feeling in their path. So for them it's more about, you know, being a spiritual seeker or just being really comfortable with saying, I'm okay, you know, as I am alone. I am all. It's just true, of course. I'm not saying that's not the path. There's many paths. And on the other path, you have those who are almost extremely obsessed with this topic and the nature of the twin soul. While in the balancing point in the middle, which is this cross, which represents our true destined self and the ultimate, you know, the realization of our true self potential, is where we are met as a divine lover. So the steady neutral observer, the illumined twin soul who knows. So if you're in this path, you will just know, and you won't either deny it or obsess over it, but you will know it, and in the silent presence of your heart you will share this truth in your twin soul, to yourself, through yourself, and it will always flow and wash over you. So how it's been for me, what I share in my videos isn't always what I experience myself. Some things are just for me, but in this video I would like to give you some of the representations of what Spirit has shown me, what's really happening, as I've already been receiving messages all summer. So what took place right now, just as I was guided to go outside, somehow I wanted to go for a run, but instead I was guided to grab my sporty camera as well. And I knew why. I said, I really feel guided, called somehow to really record something on the culmination of what's happening, is the coming together of the physical reunion with the illumined twin souls at this time, because I've always seen this visual of 2015 and this being the crucial start-off point, because many unions that has been taking place until now have been preparational unions, or that which was meant to kind of like destroy and dissolve our matrix that we had, this old paradigm that's based on relationships that are still relating us to one another and learning and mirroring and reflecting, and now moving into this higher fifth dimensional template and beyond of sacred unions when two beings become a unified being. With some people you can already feel that, like I feel it with my mother. We really, you know, recently someone said to me, who's seen us in the physical, they said, you two are like one person. It's just so synchronized and harmonized, and it's just sometimes as intense as we can get with certain people, but still they're not our twin soul. When this was a preparation to prepare us for what we can experience in a truly counter polarities balanced union, then this is again a whole new level. So this is what's opening up for us. But don't be mistaken by the mere goal of what can take place and what is taking place now, because the first union always takes place within us, so that you really feel yourself like a whole person. You feel like you are two people in one. This means your inner feminine, divine, masculine, and feminine are balanced, completely unified. And this has been going on since 2012. We've been on this balancing act point. So what's now really taking place is the merge, the physical merge. You know, some of the people have already met their counterparts, some haven't, but it's not about whether we meet or not in the sense of knowing who that is also as a person, because it is a divine mystery unfolding. But when it really is happening, you know, the actual events, they really are aligned with this first ascending wave. So I'm going to talk to you about what really took place today. So I was guided to go out and took my sporty camera, and I knew I wanted to record on this coming together after seeing this video, and I knew it to be true because I was receiving the same messages all summer long. So I already have my earplugs in, and I'm running, and I come to our hotel here. This is our Alpine Mountain Resort. It's a huge hotel, and this whole summer I've been receiving messages about wedding, but this week was really fantastic because when I was, sometimes, you know, Facebook automatically opens up, or Instagram or something like that, and this whole week has been incredibly packed and full on with wedding messages. And for me, wedding is always how Spirit talks to me about sacred union, not just physical act of two people getting married, you know, through the system, but the sacred union. And I've been receiving this the whole summer. So it was amazing because this week something popped out and someone wrote, oh, this is a wedding week for me, and Spirit said, this is a wedding week, pay out for messages. And all of a sudden I'm guided to watch this video, and one thing leading to another. And today I've bypassed a hotel when I see they're preparing for something, and I see this van. There's this van parked in front of the preparation stage, and it had the numbers of 83, which is my year of birth, 83 September, and the number 7 was also there, which is Spirit. Spirit always talks to me in 7 or 77, and you know, 777 in Codeman. And I knew this was a Spirit message when I saw the numbers, and I look and I see they're preparing an altar. It was a tiny altar, but there was this, as you know, it was all paved. What's it called? I can't think of a wording right now, but you know, when they prepare like this gateway for getting married, and was with flowers, and it was a few tiny desks there, and a woman was preparing the stage, and there was a few wooden things there. They're lying on the floor, and I somehow was running and I was counting them, like, wow, there was 9 of them, and 9 is my life path number, path of wisdom and enlightenment, but also it was a sign of culmination, of, you know, things completing, they're coming together. And 9 for me has always been about this spiritual path, because even most of my planets are in the 9th house, which is this house of service, and through commitment, through truth and expansion and soul growth, it's the Jupiterian house. So I got goosebumps all over. I was like, my jaw was literally hanging out because I received this wedding week message before, and I couldn't believe this was an actual physical wedding. Because this whole summer, when we went somewhere, something happened in regards to wedding. I'm going to tell you a few examples which are really crazy. One time, this was the first time it really happened strongly. We were in our mountain village, the next village where sometimes we go shop for groceries, and we're there. It was really terrible weather, and I was buying like a few items, like a tiny swan, and the cup represented union to me, and I bought another symbol, and I was like, 3, you know, Spirit always talks in 3s, these synchronicities, how they come. And all of a sudden, I just got guidance, go to the border. You know, there's this, we live next to the borderline with Italy and Austria, very close. And I was like, go to the Austrian borderline. Weather was terrible. I didn't know why. I was like, okay, we're gonna meditate there somewhere in nature. We're just gonna go. And the craziest thing happened, because we went out of the car with our yoga mats. It was almost getting ready to rain, and we didn't know what we were doing there. But this is how I'm always guided. I'm just pulled, and I don't know, my mind is going crazy sometimes, and I know sometimes I'm just meant to go somewhere, be at a certain place, unlock certain codes, or get messages. And we come there, it was like, oh, there's this tiny road, we're just walking, and we see our neighbor from our building. It's like, what? She was like in the car. She said, what are you two doing here? Because it was in the middle of nowhere. There's just one house there, and we're like, what are you doing here? You know, in this mode. It was so crazy. And she said, but we're preparing for a wedding here. Someone from our family is getting married. You know, so the wedding was supposed to be this weekend, but it was postponed because of the weather. We're like, okay, we got the message. And as we were returning, there was this white heart-shaped balloon. Again, union, white, unification. The next weekend, I remember, it wasn't the exact next weekend, but it was another weekend with the wedding messages. We went to the market again, to the same village, and right as I passed around the corner, sometimes you just go and somebody passes you like a surprise, and there was this old British couple, and the only word I caught was a lady was saying, oh, a wedding, you know, like, a wedding? It was the only word I overheard. I'm like, Mom, did you hear that? Again. And again, it happened, it culminated, and the next weekend was something else. And I was just like, okay, you know, what is this? And it was like a constant build-up. During this Venus retrograde, there was this constant build-up. And as Jupiter first kissed Venus, which was this expansion of the lovers, the beloved energy, you know, I see everything as archetypes. These are stories. So in the ancient myths, they were transferred to different people and personas. They were personified, and yet they do have meaning when we look at it in terms of archetypes, you know. And then as Venus was getting ready for her new initiation phase, she joined Mars, which was her physical lover. So the divine beloved counterpart, this Jupiter-Venus divine beloved, was then reflected onto the Venus-Mars archetype as in terms of physical beloved. So this was in turn really governing and implying this physical union. And on these important dates, like the 8-8 gateway, it started with the Syrian gateway because this year was potent to the maximum because the year is also a year 8. So it was 888 code, which was activated on a few dates as well later on. And as we came into September with the eclipse season, everything was, you know, it started to amplify the messages. And I realized that every time there was this important date, and also on the new moon in Virgo, I needed to be physically with a male representative. And I was asking myself, why? It's because the energy needed to be physically seated. And a lot of those people, for you, maybe you thought were your counterparts or your beloveds or your true love, and then you were somehow disappointed. These disappointments are not truly disappointments because these people all played a role in your divine reunion. They were there for a reason. They helped you to build up the energy. They're not only, when people say karmic, soulmates, bad, lessons, you know, these agreements, a lot of these agreements might seem sometimes terrible to you, or you feel betrayed or not loved in the same way, or it's reciprocated in the terms of how you love. But in the bigger picture, these people and these souls are all of love. All these arrangements we have are all of love, and these people assisted our unions, and we assisted them and their progression of ascension, because a lot of these beings are ascending for the first time. So the true nature of being a divine lover, a twin illumined soul counterpart essence, is that we came here to serve others. Our service is the indicator that our illumined unions are what they are. So this knowing is not coming either from obsession or complete denial, and not knowing that there is such a thing as being a divine lover in illumination. And it's how all energy is really being moved in the universe. Galaxies colliding, creating new fusions of energy through integration. Sometimes different things happen. You can have either fusions or integrations, and you can have many different things coming out. But we actually make love because we give birth to this triangulation third energy, and either it's physical or it's not yet physical, but it's always together. When I created my 27 Cosmic Journey of the Beloved's paintings, the beloved energy through me spoke that this was our journey. It's all a path of memory, but it's also all happening simultaneously. So you're unlocking these multidimensional codes of your partnership, that's divine partnership, that's a sacred union, bringing them, synthesizing them, and then really just being open and ready for your divine lover to meet you as your counterpart in the physical. And for those who are not on this path of really being in an equalized twin soul union, not a relationship, oftentimes we say that, but it's just because maybe we're still used to this word relationship being used in this old template, but we're moving towards the sacred union template, which is just what it is, in the highest form of our angelic self. When we are angelics, we are who we are in this path of illumined souls. So this was all like to preparation. And a lot of people who maybe are also feeling this, they feel pulled towards this, they will also then create this energy. So what we do is we needed to establish this kind of setting, these kind of circumstances, this kind of energy. We needed to find out how to ascend in this current wave. So we're going to be helping others to ascend alongside. So those who are merely focused on the romantic aspects of it, oh, I really want to get together, oh, it's going to be so beautiful, not just on the service part, they're still not in the 5-dimensional frequency awareness and further beyond, because they still feel it's something having to do only with them. When I said it before, the life of illumined twin souls belongs to all, because they have remembered their allness, their unity, their brotherhood and sisterhood, and that's it, period. So with this, when we have reached this certain level of preparation, we know we're ready, then we just wait for the divine synchronicities to take place. And with this current cycle, and now between the eclipses and leading up to November, and there'll be a new influx, because these reunions are going to take place in waves. Like I said, for a lot of them we felt they already happened, but these were more soulmates or soul partnerships, or just these agreements, sometimes very temporarily, just for the order of, you know, anchoring certain energy essence that we needed to, because it was all part of the union. When we're ready, things will shift together almost magically, naturally, through fusion, through magnetism. Remember, magnetism and electricity, divine feminine and masculine forces of creation are both one. When we unify, we become our twin soul, also in the physical embodiment. We feel like the queen and king and god and goddess in our true spark, and that's when we start to radiate this out. We create this reverberation of energy, this calling goes out, and you're always ethereally communicating, but then the more and more your communication that is like a structure, like your own creatrix that you built within your unique bubble of love, transcends to the physical, and you're starting to get more and more messages in the physical. Sometimes your jaw goes like, ah, and sometimes people don't know and don't see what you see, but for you it's important when you know you're in this path that it is what it is. So some of the signs that you know you're in this path is because from always you felt for you it's just one. Some people will say, how can you limit yourself this way? There's so many people. You can have a relationship with everybody, with anybody, when you reach a certain level of awareness. Yes, that is true, but nobody's your exact vibrational equal alignment. Nobody shares your vibration, only you within your twin soul nature. So when you come into the understanding of the relationship versus sacred union, you will see that it's not the same. It all is of love. Don't get me wrong. Love is behind every relationship or union, whatever it is. It's just that the union comes from a higher angelic self template, the illumined template that we hold as the structure. So when we know it, we can embody it, and when we bring it to every aspect of our being, mind, body, and soul, then all of our lower bodies are infused with this light. That means our light body is intact. We become aligned with who we truly are in our authentic self mode. Then we can really attract this, but not just that. It's not just for us. Remember, we will be paving the way for others to find these pathways that we have been building. I have been building a pathway of Ascension pioneers. Then came my angelic grace art. Then came set up Light. These are all aspects of me. These are all what I'm birthing already as a unified essence of my twin soul nature. So the physical act of coming together or living together, or being wedded, or whatever, what we perceive in the human aspect as physical, is just like the last stage of things coming into play. So you've never been out of the union. It's always been about the union. And right now at this stage, the guidance is really saying the union is our focal point for those of us who know we're in this path, because this is the pathway that then, as we complete it, this is our completion pathway for this cycle. Then we can move to the new. Then we will create on this new level. A lot of us, especially me, because I'm so hyper in what I do and create, and all these visions I have, I always want to do it right now and right here, because I feel this eternal presence where everything is already created. Yes, but then again, the physical aspect sometimes has linearity in it, and it has things we need to do in a certain way, in a certain sequential order. And it doesn't matter when I say the first ascending wave in terms of what age we already required, how old we are. We say the first wave, some people are older, how can you, experience it so young? Or some people even younger than me. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with where you have vibrationally prepared yourself for, the awareness you have embraced and incorporated, but also the vibrational preparation you did. So this physical reunion is all about the physical vibration you have managed to embody. It's not just what you know, but then living your knowingness and being prepared. Because a lot of people say, I'm ready, but then they still get entangled in this lower stuff, trivial things, trivial relationships that really don't support their soul evolution, which in fact, they're part of the cycle too, but at a certain point, it's time to go. It's time, move on. So we will know, the voice will tell us, our inner soul heart guidance will tell us. It's just for us to listen, to embrace it and say, okay. Sometimes we're like, but I want this, and we can project all of our desires maybe to one situation or person, and maybe that's not the person. You want something so badly, you will chase it away, but then again, you've chased it away for a reason, because if it's yours, it stays or it comes back. So don't worry if you felt you did something that, with a certain relationship you've gone through, you felt maybe I ruined something. You never did. You couldn't. You cannot. Every single thing we say is divinely structured. There's divine order and reasoning behind everything. And our human logic just needs to catch up with that. That's why we have this Mercury retrograde phase now, because the planetary energies are just fusions of these planetary celestial embodiments that are actual beings of light, just how we are beings of light in this form as well. And it's all in collision. It's all in interdynamical relationships. So basically the planets are saying, we're giving you this time and space for you to catch up, so your physical bodies can catch up. Because Mercury, a lot of times, it doesn't just represent the mind, but also our physical nature, our physical structure. How we translate this mind, the greater mind, into our physical nature, because the Uranus aspect is this higher mind that is, it cannot be encapsulated in form. Then the Mercury transcends this and brings it into this translates this, pardon me, and brings it into our physical form. So these unions, they are happening. The main gateways for this was the 888 activation point, the seeding of the divine feminine and masculine, the infinite selves coming together. The unification process takes place. The first phase of this turnover point, is how I'm being shown, was through the new moon in Virgo. So the need to purify, the need to let go of things, break away from toxic, from old things that no longer serve. Now the merging point right in between these two eclipses is the equinox. This is our balancing point, the integration point. We will get the ideals and the visions of why we did certain things, why things unfolded this way. It was perfect, it always was. We cannot get impatient or, you know, wanting to have it our way. The divine has us, and we have the divine because we are the divine. And then the next turnover point is the next eclipse in Aries. So Aries is like this, almost like the opposite of Virgo, which is this divine feminine, the maiden, the white lady, which is the archetype I also present and embody. And then the Aries is this new beginning. It's this fire aspect, which is that fierce Mars energy. You know, it is ruled by Mars, this divine masculine energy, but it's not just fierce, because it is combined with the Virgo. Remember, the masculine and feminine both have the seeds of each other. It's the yin and yang symbol. It's not just the oppositions, but each one has the seed of the other within. So that's what I mean when I say sacred union. These seeds are always, you're bound to one another through that. So there's people who might say, yeah, I'm not looking for just one, I'm just exploring, or, you know, that's just maybe not their path. Don't try to tell them what you know, or say, oh, this is how it is, because each one of us needs to only learn one thing, to know what is true for us, and that there's so many pathways and so many lives we can live as the greatness of all, that we cannot know it all. So we need to know our own path, and to truly embrace it, you really become enlightened in your own kind of self. So you start to embody your luminescence, your true pathway. And when you create these pathways that we were creating for so long now, and you can see me, I'm like blah blah blah, I have so much in my heart pouring through. So this was as a preparation point, but also the seeding of what is to come. So I already shared some on this note, that the template of service within these illumined unions will shift to the fifth dimensional density frequency of embodiment, because the old pathways, where a lot of them were about healing and mending and fixing and helping and assisting in certain ways that were different than how we assist on this fifth dimensional guidance system, which is more like just a way shower through embodiment. And for example, what I did since 2012 I did so many readings, and this year I stopped them after this phase. And I knew, because the guidance always said no, 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 it's over. I couldn't even sense the gateway anymore. The door was like locked. I tried to tap into it, but it was locked. It's because I'm getting ready for this new vibrational attainment, is to assist through this greater group consciousness and this fifth dimensional template, which is not to readings for others, but to show them. Because in my path, in these especially recent 3 years, I have really, really profoundly mastered the art of spirit communication. And it's so direct that when I try to say to somebody, they're like, there's just nothing. What are you thinking about? These are not signs, because they think you're superstitious or something like that. You just see what they don't see, and vice versa. Is my Neptune, which is the planet of spiritual love and seership, and, you know, this seeing a grander vision, this spiritual love, is I see everything through the eyes of love, which is pure spirit. And it's in the galactic core degree of the center of our Milky Way galaxy. So this means that I can see things that other people can't, and I've always been built this way, even since I was little. And I always knew, for me, it's just one. Even though there was many, there was also one. And I knew what this means for me, and what this path is about. So then to wash over yourself, and then the environment and the locales, and we all have a grid point. Don't forget this, because illumined twins, we have a grid point, which is very much, we are the vortex pillars on a certain locale, on a certain location. We were set up on these different frequency levels of the planetary existence. That's why when most people were seeking and traveling and experiencing, a lot of us were just guided to stay put. We went somewhere if we were guided, but mostly we were really in knowing of what is our place and why we are there. For me, as the embodiment of the white diamond light, the white lady frequency, and and being attuned to the seraphim, I was placed, and this is my home, the White Alps. The Alps are white, and even the crystalline nature of their being is aligned with my own crystalline nature of how I serve and how we serve as the twin soul. So this is my grid point, but it also relates to certain other specific grid points on the planet, which we will be then further ahead discovering. There will be more travels then in the future, but we needed to reach a certain state of where we were now to know our grid point, to make love to this grid point like I did here in these beautiful precious mountains, to establish a certain setting, a foundation. It's almost like building this template before the building will be built, and this was our first phase. This turnover point is taking place with the eclipse, and then later on, and as you know, the shifts are ongoing, so we will see. We can't see it like, if it doesn't happen by this date, then it's not my path, or I'm doomed, or things like that. It's not the truth. It just, you have your own unique pathway. Not everybody's is the same. You don't know what our choices were before coming here. We simply need to trust them. I know that sounds simple. It is simple. We like to complicate as humans. So to know our pathways, to trust the divine, that it already is bringing to us what we are creating on a soul level, because it is a soul creation. It's not like mind-based creation only. That's a very misperceived representation of it. It's not in depth enough. So what's taking place now is really beautiful. It's really magical. There will be waves of twin souls coming together, reuniting physically, getting rid of these patterns as well that we used to have, but we've taken upon as we incarnated in a certain family lineage. But the most important thing that's taking place now is where it starts, is the starting point of getting rid of all doubt. That's what I'm hearing. All doubt that this is our path, this is our destiny, for those of us who have been always feeling that since forever. And even though you might have a situation in the physical, you feel this is hopeless, or this is, can something divine and, you know, pure come out of it? Yes. You know, there's always a turnover, but we have to be patient and know that we have taken upon the assignments that we were needed to take upon, because we always saw the bigger vision and plan and set in motion. So I feel this union right now with this equinox point, and going through this tetrad of the eclipse and this culmination, and Venus and Mars dancing together in conjunction. It really means that it's the final point of deciding, this is my path. No more doubts, no more thinking, okay, but maybe I choose this way, and maybe I settle for this relationship. No. If you know you're meant for sacred union, which is two beings existing and creating as one, co-creator beings, then you go for that. That is your dream, that is your vision, this is where you're headed. Even if your current steps feel, are they really leading me there? And sometimes you doubt it. You know, just have this knowing, yes. You know, what are your messages? What are they telling you? I know what they're telling me, so my messages are always based on what I receive through spirit, and how the holy force of life, the Holy Spirit, speaks through me and as me. And I used to have my moments of doubts as well, because you feel, this is too much. I can't handle this on a human level. It's so intense. And if you have been noticing, there was a buildup. It's like tension building up. And for me, I had moments this summer when I went like, I'm going crazy. This cannot be. I cannot get so many messages, and nothing is happening in the physical, because the mind likes to translate everything directly to the physical. But it is happening. And this whole energy matrix is being rewritten, and we're feeling it. And now the sense of culmination and completion on this level is coming together. We will feel this, and the naysayers who are saying, oh, you know, that doesn't exist. You know, enlightenment is about just you are source. Yes, we're source, but we also know ourselves as a creation, and creation is the polarity of the two within one, creating the third. Spirit always says the same thing. So this is my message for today. I had so many other synchronicities, but I can't put them all in one video. I hope one day we have a retreat, we sit together, we talk about all these things, that it's also a bit more pleasant on this higher template, not just me speaking to myself here, which I know I'm not, but still, sometimes it can feel like this. Actually, talking to the tree, the trees are quite familiar with me already. So I do feel, and somehow, things are culminating, they're coming together. You might feel this pressure, but every time you feel this pressure of things culminating, building up, don't like, oh, you know, give up. Explode this, you know, it's more like an implosion of love, and then it explodes out and reverberates, and then open yourself to new new level of receiving. So this is how I handle things myself. I give you the short advice before I go. It's, if you feel too many messages, symbols, but you feel like, how can I interpret them all? What does this mean in my life? Just embrace them and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. Thank you, my own illumined soul. Thank you, my I am. Just put them up, wrap them in a heart. Put them all inside you until you feel that you have imploded with all the love they've shared with you. Then release them. You're not giving up, you're just releasing. You're not clinging on to the messages, to the stories, to your own limited timelines as to when something is supposed to happen and how. Let that go. And you're just staying with gratitude and the grace of your true illumined presence. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please know that great things are happening, and if you feel in your heart as well, you know that you're in this path, and if not, then just support this, because this is not just for us. This is for the greater good of the planet. The planet is so in need of this infusion of love. That's why it's happening at the grid points. And for many of us, because we're so scattered around the planet, we have felt maybe physically isolated or alone, because it was meant this way. You know, we were meant to wrap up the planet with this infusion of love, but now a new step is going to take place since this time on. And it was beautiful, because after I saw this wedding message, I was running further, and two women were coming and they picked yellow flowers. And since this spring, the beloved to me speaks through the essence of the yellow flowers. And it was like, okay, you know, just when you're so open to life, you know, life has messages for you non-stop. Every second, every breath, in breath, out breath. So this is who we are. We've mastered this template. We have moved into this fifth dimensional frequency of just embodying this, of becoming an angelic, graceful being. So then later, when we really merge, also when this physical merge is complete, we will also create a new template of how to share this, of how to teach others to do it themselves. That's why I don't want to do readings for you, but I want to teach you how to do your own galactic signature, how you will actually master your own inner cosmic mastery, how you will, you know, all these things that I'm doing, how you will have your own communion with Holy Spirit, all these things that I've been doing, I've been putting out, my light activations, my free videos, my mastery courses, the cosmic convergence and the galactic signature course that's going to come now, and the advanced mastery course, so stay updated for that. They're all like pathways for you to create and find your own pathways. So then on this next level, we can really meet and create something together as a fellowship, a brotherhood of sisterhood of divine love. So thank you for watching. May you have the blessed journey of your soul illumination and so much grace. As always, love, wisdom, and power. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. So, my beloved pioneers, I also feel guided to share something very important for you, to call in the essence of your divine lover self. Your counterpart, your true soul union, is usually, you know, when you meditate with mudras, you can do like this, or whatever kind of form you're creating. And just recently I was sitting doing my mudras, and all of a sudden my hands went like this, and creating a Vesica Pisces symbol. So this is the mudra for this twin soul enlightened consciousness and illuminated presence that Spirit shared with me, and you can use it in your meditations. You will enhance this, you will call this energy forth. So it's very simple, it's so natural. Your hands, which represent, you know, hands of God, divine union coming together, just naturally tuning into each other, and like this you're creating a circle, you know, with your thumbs. So it's so simple, and then you just hold it when you sit like this in your lap, whatever, and you will really feel the energy just flows through, and you might get your own messages from your twin soul illumined presence. And you really know this being. When you really say, how do I know? It's because they love you as you love yourself. You know how much you love you. You know how much you love your uniqueness, your joy, how you are, and how is your humor, how you are entertaining others. I mean, as an illumined being, you're just so full of life. And you recognize this being because they love you as much as you love yourself, and you love them the same way. So this is one very simple indicator that goes beyond the things that people usually imply being the real twin flame symbols. You know, it has nothing to do with age, you know, astrological charts. Well, they can indicate certain things, of course, but true knowing will be in feeling, in essence, and this essence will be the love that will be reciprocated in this same pulling magnetism kind of way. Because I had a twin dream was one of a kind. It was back in 2012. This is where this journey really began for me. I was at the seaside for one day. I slept there and I had this prophetic dream. I was looking through the Skype, this other being, and we didn't say anything. We were just gazing at each other, you know, jaw just completely down, and we were like, it was just magnetism. We didn't speak, we just communicated love. We just felt love and magnetism. It was beautiful. And this dream was telling me, this is it, this is my path, this is how this love feels, and I will never forget it, because this feeling of love is implanted. It's the seed that lives within me, breathes as one with me. And as you start doing this, you might amplify this feeling in the physical, but there's also other things, and your soul will show you the way, because your soul does know. So that's it. I love you all so much.